Hello YouTube and welcome back one and all to another Rage video here, ladies and gentlemen, where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, oh dear me, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're gonna take it a little bit easy. I'm gonna like turn this up just a little bit higher. There we go. Because I want us all to feel a little relaxed. I want us to feel a little bit like we're on our own little, our own little bubble, man, We're going to be our own little people, you know what I'm saying? So, what I'm going to sort of like emphasize for when we're about to begin, ladies and gentlemen, is just to let go, ladies and gentlemen. Just tied in, mind out, because Stone Jesus, I've talked about these guys a few times before, and one thing that I will always come back to these guys for is that sometimes when you don't want to feel anything, Stone Jesus is here to answer your prayers. And with all that being said and done, because I kind of like just want to get down to the point in this, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. Let's begin. I'm the mountain in 3, 2, 1, and come on, play it. There we go.
mountain rising high. It's the way that I never survive. I'm the mountain, tell my tale. The greatest story is now for sale. I'm the seaside, I'm the waves. I'm the one that makes you crave. I'm the valley, I'm the hills. Look at me, I'm standing still. I'm the mountain, I'm the plain. Tell me now, am I insane? I'm the spirit, I'm the source. I'm the root, I am the dust. I'm the road, long and hard, running out of my heart. I'm the mountain, climb me up, and we never gonna stop. I'm the locker, I'm the key. I am who you want to be. I'm the reason, I'm the blame. I will never be the same. Mirror, mirror, tell the truth of the old ones and the youth. All the things we hide from ourselves. I've always loved sci-fi.
Oh, I've always loved sci-fi. How precious. Let's see it. Let's just see at the end of this, if there is anything left. And now, breathe in again. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I can't help but tell if it's how long today has been, or whether or not how much work I've got done, or with the fact that I feel like millions of explosions are happening in my brain at this moment, but I feel like I don't know how best I feel like I look like a mess. And that's kind of like where I wanted to start with talking about I'm the Mountain. Because what I've noticed, like, round about like at the halfway mark, is that being a mountain, that's how very, very unusual, because, well, one, how do you know you're a mountain if you're a mountain? Do you just sort of like, oh, I'm a mountain, I'm a huge slab of rock, I'm just there for people to lay on top of me, I'm just there for, I am the Earth's great point, I am the jagged nail that points out of Earth's mattress? Is that what a mountain is? Or does a mountain think when it looks over the horizon? Let's say, for all intents and purposes, let's say that we are Mount Kilimanjaro, looking over almost the whole of Africa. What do we ever think that the Great Dawn, there must come a point, just like that mountain, where even for die-hard fans of The Lion King, at some point they must get bored hearing that or seeing that. And maybe that's I'll get to the ending right now, actually, where the mountain recognizes himself. He is a young man, torn with doubts, mistakes, his selfishness and rage of things being his fault. But can a mountain feel blame for himself? How can a mountain be blamed for simply existing? A mountain is going to be there whether we like it or not. I mean, if we were going to use the idea of Kilimanjaro, for example, can Kilimanjaro, for example, hate itself just because it's in the middle of, I don't quite know where Kilimanjaro is supposed to be. I think it's like southern Kenya or something. I'm going to look up. I think it's like southern Kenya, but I'm going to just double check. Tanzania. Oh god, my head. I'm gonna like take some water and then maybe go to sleep very shortly after this, because I feel like that's what I need. I need some sleep. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll do one better. I'll turn this monitor off just so there's less like electromagnetic smog, so it doesn't like screw up my brain or whatever. So Mount Kilimanjaro, sitting in Tanzania, does it feel blame for the fact that it exists in its state? Because the way the mountain turns on its head and says in the end that the young man is him, are we meant to believe that should we be held accountable for who we are and for what we possess? Because, again, taking it in a little bit more of a logical direction for a second, we know fine well a mountain is not sentient. It is an inanimate object. But a man, a human being, is substantially more than a mountain. It possesses feelings, it functions, it eats, it sleeps, it shits, it pisses all over the place. It creates incredibly dull daytime TV programs for pensioners, like A Matter of Life and Debt. Puns, ladies and gentlemen. Puns are useless for... Who's ever woken up one morning and thought to themselves, you know what this world needs? We need another terrible pun just to show how funny we are. Not. You get that kind of shit, like, thank God, like, the faster I got off welfare, the better. Trust me. It wasn't called welfare, it was called universal credit. But you know what? Speaking of universal credit, universe. We are part of the universe. And if you want to look at it in a or turn it on its head, is the universe not a part of us? Because take the very first letter of universe, U. Are you part of the universe? And the universe is a part of you. But then is not the planet, all the planets of the solar systems, the mountain? What if the mountain is all of us? Maybe we call ourselves a mountain, even from Mount Everest, or just the smallest of knolls running in some of the flattest lands in maybe Bangladesh, or Bangladesh is a flat country. I am thinking that is what I'm thinking of, or on one of the flattest plains of the earth. We still consider ourselves mighty and big, stoical, doer, and intimidating, because it's reflective of a lot of things in many ways. Our ego, our intellect. Then again, but to be honest, in this day and age, ladies and gentlemen, with our fancy Instagrams and our Pinterests and our Tik-Tok round the clock, all that, what is intelligence nowadays? The true test of virtue, ladies and gentlemen, take this from me, is divided into 3 basic rules. Get money, get it however you can, and finally, get a lot of it. So what is the use in calling ourselves... what is the use of introducing poetry? What is the point of introducing any way to establish that perhaps there are other ways of looking through this universe instead of through a spelk? What if there are ways we can look at ourselves and maybe look upon others, or with the idea that we are not as big as we think we are, but we are consumed in things bigger than ourselves? Maybe the measure of a man's doubt and a measure of a man's mistakes, all negative traits that you want to throw in there. You could probably even throw a sense of happiness in many ways as a part of a weakness, because sometimes when we are happy, we are maybe a little less susceptible to the real evils of this world. I mean, just because we are happy doesn't mean the rest of the world is happy. Something to consider there, perhaps, I think. Moreover, there is just this I want to comment on for I'm the Mountain, is that it's given me a little bit more to think about in terms of how I want to manage my life, because a few times today, ladies and gentlemen, I've heard people say that in a few years' time, when you have your career, or when you're going to become a success, or you already mean so much to me anyway, I wouldn't change you for the world. In spite of those sort of things that I've heard through just today, sometimes I feel like I should be bigger than myself. Not because I have aspirations and I have hopes and dreams to attain, not just because I want to do them for myself, but because I want to see other people to show that it is possible and that I'm not completely full of shit. But then again, am I full of shit? I mean, I don't think I'm full of shit. Sometimes I think I'm just a person who has to do what he's got to do. Maybe my inner confusion has almost been solved by almost comparing my almost a grander self, a self that I cannot see, by Stone Jesus. Maybe that the clue to my character, my role on this planet Earth, my part in the script of the script of life, it should be sometimes a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. But then again, is a man greater than a mountain? Is a mountain greater or any way grander than a man? But if I am the mountain, and if the mountain is a part of me, then maybe we are as good as each other. And maybe we are only as big as the other one chooses to see how big it can get. Maybe possibly maybe years after I'm gone, people will say that the legends, the tales they hear about me will start to like get taller and taller and taller, and you know what I'm saying, until they are the size of mountaintops. You know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna end this video in a slightly different way, because I want to just. What I've gathered from Stone Jesus is that there is a much larger presence at work. There is, maybe it's the power of God, maybe it's the power of merely having some sort of deep philosophical belief that you cannot express into words, or maybe the word does exist and I'm just negligent to know what that is. Because, like I was saying before in Man's Gotta Do What a Man's Gotta Do, sometimes I find that whenever I'm in any particular tough situation in which my inner ambitions about what I want to do with my life are brought into question, sometimes I just get on with it. I don't think, I just do. And sometimes doing means doing things that don't even need much thought. Well, that's just my interpretation, because oftentimes, and especially when it comes to stoner rock like Stone Jesus, is that there's still logic, there's still a system, even when you're completely lost in a green-filled haze that is doing drugs or doing LSD or whatever it might be. Don't talk to me about what drugs it is. I wouldn't even begin to tell you. But the point I wanted to just get sort of like end up on is that there is still maybe something there is something that Stone Jesus are trying to tell us all about, maybe their philosophy, maybe about their role in life, or why do they think that a mountain of all things is what they want to call themselves? Because they think they're big, or maybe they know that some way they are. That's an interesting thing, because if they call themselves, let's say, a jungle, a forest, a lake, a puddle, that might be... I wouldn't even know how to go through that. Anyway, just to end this video, I'm going to actually read a very short poem by Emily Dickinson, also called The Mountain. The mountain sat upon the plain in his eternal chair, his observation omnifold, his inquest everywhere. The seasons prayed around his knees, like children round a sire. Grandfather of the days is he, of dawn, the ascenter. The ascenter, the center of the universe. We are in the universe is in us. The mountain is in us, and we are the mountain. That is a very encouraging thought. And breathe out again. So anyway, as I'm just about ready to hit the hay right now, you should. It's just another working day comes to an end, but it's always good to keep learning, ladies and gentlemen. It's always good to broaden your mind, to think that there are people out there who see that there is real value in art and poetry and music. What a and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.